A jury has been hearing how Stephen Lawrence's jacket was stored in the same outer bag as clothing worn by one of the suspects. Gary Dobson and David Norris deny murdering the black student at a bus stop in Eltham 18 years ago. Our Home Affairs correspondent Guy Smith joins us from the Old Bailey. And what was heard in court, Guy?
Well, Riz, the jury heard that in 1995 there were no procedures to separate police evidence bags, so clothing from both the victims and the suspects were put in police brown paper bags like this and then sealed and then put all together in big plastic overbags. Now, we heard from Chris Bower, who was in charge of the storage area of the forensic laboratory in Lambeth. He said that Stephen Lawrence's jacket was put in the same overbag as Gary Dobson's jacket and cardigan. Now, this was the exchange between Dobson's lawyer and Chris Bower. Their words have been revoiced.
Your record shows these three pieces of clothing were all together in the same bag?
Yes, they were.
They went into a plastic overbag?
Yes, they did.
That was not a source of embarrassment for you?
No.
Or concern in any sense?
We would not have known what the items were or where they were from.
And Guy, I gather they also heard about how exhibits were handled during the private prosecution a few years later in 1996.
Yes, indeed. Well, Doreen and Neville Lawrence have actually been coming every day to this trial, but in 1996 they took out a private prosecution against a number of defendants for the murder of their son Stephen. Now, today we heard from David O'Brien, who was part of a police liaison team looking after the exhibits during the private prosecution, and we heard that that he had opened a bag containing Gary Dobson's cardigan in a private room for a barrister here at the Old Bailey, and the jury heard that that same barrister looked at another exhibit the day before. Now, at the centre of this case is the new forensic evidence suggesting a link between the two defendants and Stephen Lawrence's murder. Their defence lawyers argue that that new evidence was contaminated. Well, tomorrow we'll be hearing again about how the exhibits were handled.
Many thanks. Our Home Affairs correspondent, Guy Smith.